Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, sponsored by Citrix GoToMeeting, the online meeting solution that hosts more than 60 million meetings a year. Learn more at gotomeeting.com. Lance Lysowski and I here at our Highmark Stadium studio. Lance and I are the only two people in this particular structure at this particular time who are not completely apoplectic, all right?
That's very true.
It's a rough place to be. The River Hounds are 2-11-4. They just got beaten rather soundly by their legitimately bitter rival, Harrisburg City Islanders. Not a good place to be, is it? In any sense.
No, it's not. And you sense the energy even before the game started. You see head coach Dave Brant out there having guys run wind sprints an hour before the game started.
Which is weird.
That you don't see that. And a starter was among that group. So you can tell there's something wrong. Nobody's happy right now. You go from the coaches, nobody's happy. They're trying to correct it. You see Dave Brant, his sense of optimism has just declined since he got the job. At first, you heard that we can turn this around. The pieces are there.
Yeah,
and
how many points are remaining on the schedule
yeah,
and all that other stuff. And
there's plenty of season left.
He's been here for a month and a half and has one win.
And it's not getting any better. You see improvement in some areas, and then they take a step back. It's constantly happening.
Yeah, and if you want to get a sense for how snarly it is around here, Kevin Kerr, who's one of the great people that we cover in Pittsburgh sports, is also the captain of the team and the scorer of the lone goal against Harrisburg. Watch the conversation he and I had after the match. Kevin, you're a proud guy. You've been here for some success, and you've been here for this season. How hard is this to take?
It's the hardest loss of my 4 years by a country mile.
Why?
Just on top of all the results that we've had over the last few weeks, and then also, to be honest, it's not a good Harrisburg team. If we want to do anything in this league this year, we have to beat that team. But obviously the first half there was nothing.
Are you seeing progress? Are you seeing any positivity?
I mean, obviously it's tough. The games are coming thick and fast. It's not like we're getting loads of time on the training ground, but the biggest thing is just morale and confidence. And you can train confidence. You can work on morale. All you can do is keep on going, and you see it out there. It's a team that massively lacks confidence, and there's a lack of trust. There's a lack of a lot of things, and it's going to be tough to turn around from there.
Okay. A little tense there, wasn't it?
It was. You could just, the frustration. Kevin, for about 5 minutes after the game ended, he
couldn't even go to the podium.
He did not want to do it.
By our office door, and just looked like he wanted no part of it.
Did not want to talk, and you saw it on the field. He's on his hands and knees, just can't believe it.
You saw that after the match.
I saw it after the match. He's just by himself. And of course he takes the time to give little kids high fives, but at the same time he's sick of it. He's sick of it,
and he should be, because he is one of, I don't even know if it's a handful anymore.
It's 4 maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say how many good players are left on this roster, because when you get down to what the real problem is, hey, let's not overthink this. 2 years ago, the Hounds were a really good team because they had the league MVP in Jose Angulo. They had the league's assist leader in Matt Dahlman. Last season, they were one of the most exciting teams to watch in the USL because they had Robbie Vincent, because they had Kevin Kerr step up in a supplementary role to help. Who's left? There's Kevin and there's Lebo Malota, who we're still really waiting for to come around.
And Lebo's a distributor. They don't have a guy who
That's
can
what
really,
I was going to say. Lebo's not going to finish.
They don't have anybody who can really finish. And Herzog at times looks like he could be that guy.
Yeah, because he gets 100 chances a match.
Exactly, and he can't execute on most of them. And he told me earlier this season it's hard on him. I get it, but that doesn't lead to wins.
No, yeah.
It doesn't. And I think Sergio...
Accountability's swell, but...
One guy we haven't mentioned is Sergio Campbell. I think he's steady in the back end, but there's just so many weaknesses. I mean... Look at the 2 goals they gave up.
I don't see any significant talent coming on the back from the wings. I see very little creativity other than Lebo in the midfield. And again, the striking, look, it's just not a good roster. It's not a good team. This is not.
They signed a guy who hadn't played professional soccer in 5 years.
5 years.
And he played significant minutes in a game against their
And
bitter
we're
rival.
about to get to that in a second. Nick Thompson is his name. His brother Jack was also brought in by Dave Brant, the current coach. The coach who had been with Navy for like a quarter century came here, his first pro gig, and he brings in these guys who, I don't care how mean this sounds, can't play at this level.
They can't.
So what he's doing is he's looking for just somebody who will listen to him. What is that? Who does that at the pro level?
And we'll start with Nick Thompson. Hadn't played professionally for 5 years.
5 years. There's a
I don't wanna-
5-year gap.
I don't want to understate that, because not only is he on the roster, but he's playing significant minutes against their bitter rival in a game they have to win at home with fans here.
Look, there's more.
It's unbelievable.
And there's more to it. This team right now, the Hounds are going out there. They're changing their alignments every single game.
There's no consistency.
Again, who does that? It's easy to say in general when a guy comes up from a much lower level, and of course Mike Johnston comes to mind with the Penguins. He came from juniors to the NHL, and you go, wow, he's in over his head, he's in over his head. But there's a reason that phrase exists. And if the players aren't listening to you, who's to blame for that? I mean, show me a group of players that's to blame for not listening to the coach instead of the other way around.
And I don't know if it's just the style or there's really nothing you can point to. I mean, I'm not in that locker room. I can't tell you what he's doing that they're not responding to, but they're not responding. You see improvements in certain areas, they take a step back. It's just there's no consistency, and when there's no identity. I mean, at first he preached that we're going to be a certain team, we're going to push the ball to the midfield.
And then change the alignment for the very next match.
And then it's now they're pushing it through the outside, and they're doing the things that you can tell that's not what he was talking about.
The scary thing for the Hounds is that there's half a season left, and really already almost nothing to play for. They have a lot of tickets still to sell. It's still a fledgling franchise for the purpose of marketing and everything. It's not going to be easy for them. And man, winning cures a lot of that, but losing hurts it.